My name is Aang, and I'm the Avatar. I ran away, but I'm back now. It's time for you to stop doing this! Leave him alone! I don't want to hurt anyone.
Okay, everybody can help us now!
In 2010's The Last Airbender, young Avatar Aang joins forces with Katara and Sokka to learn waterbending to fight back against the oppressive Fire Nation, just like in the first season of the animated series. Except that it f***ing sucks.
Leave him alone!
Not long ago, I made a video about After Earth saying it's the movie that destroyed M Night Shyamalan's blockbuster career. But as some of you rightly pointed out, the movie that actually did that may in fact be The Last Airbender. A blockbuster so terrible that none of the people working on it came out of it unharmed. While After Earth might be the nail, The Last Airbender is the coffin Shyamalan's name can never escape. That being said, I do think this movie is way more entertaining than After Earth, simply because it's so bad it's funny.
He was bending tiny stones at us from behind a tree. It really hurt.
With fight scenes straight out of a scary movie parody, and such insanely clunky acting, it's like, well, a parody.
I need to tell you something.
What is it, Aang?
I ran away before they trained me.
What's your name?
I don't need to tell you anything.
I'll burn down this village.
I'll go with you.
But funniness aside, yes, The Last Airbender is even more poorly constructed than After Earth. And so, let's do the same thing as in that video. Let's go through the whole movie and list out all the most basic filmmaking mistakes that led to this horrendous stink. Not only because it's funny to do, but also to understand what to absolutely avoid in our own work. To be fair, not everything here is Shyamalan's fault. Not much you can do when a billionaire nepo baby who can't act is forced on you and when the studio meddles with everything. But still, here's how this movie sent his blockbuster career toward annihilation. Also, if you enjoy these types of run-through videos, please leave a like so I'll know to turn it into a regular series. Thanks. Right off the bat, the movie begins in the only way these terrible studio movies can, with voiceover exposition.
100 years ago, all was right with our world.
Nice.
But what makes this voiceover beginning even more boring than usual is that it does the same thing twice, audibly explaining what is written on screen. It's not text paired with music to build up a feeling, nor is it a voice paired with visuals to build up the world. It's just a read-along of text against a black screen. No more unimaginative way to begin a movie than that. Next, as we meet our heroes Katara and Sokka, we need a moment to introduce and humanize them to make the audience care. And how else to do that than by having them immediately mention their deepest tragedy out loud.
I thought about Mom. Isn't that strange?
That's right, in her very first line, Katara already references their dead or lost mom. No need for a proper scene to establish who they are or how they resolve obstacles or anything interesting. Just have them right off the bat tell the audience about their sad history. That's enough. Now that the movie has successfully made us not care about the main characters, it's time to get into the plot. And how else would you introduce the plot than, of course, with more voice-over exposition?
My brother and I often go hunting for food, but unfortunately my brother isn't the best hunter in the world.
Immediately, it becomes clear that this is a big mess of a movie that relies on verbally explaining what's going on for the plot to function. And hey, it's nice to know right away what to expect.
We arrived at the northern water track, but for some reason he was having trouble with water.
Okay, but now it's time to get into the inciting incident to get the story moving, which happens when Katara and Sokka find Aang in the ice. And of course, the inciting incident doesn't happen organically through character motive. It's not like the characters get into a fight with some animal they're hunting and through that accidentally break the ice and release Aang. No, it's made to happen artificially. Sokka sees a light under the ice and decides to whack at it blindly and it breaks. Then Katara sees something in the ice and decides to whack at it blindly and it breaks. And there we go, the story is now underway. as graceful as a punch to the face. Also, at this point it already becomes clear that the editing is all over the place, skipping over beats. One moment we find Aang unconscious in the ice, and the next moment we cut to a village where Katara walks into a tent where Aang is already leaving. What the f***? How did we get from point B to E? Whatever. Oh, but now that the characters are beginning to interact with each other, we realize that everyone is basically an NPC, in that whatever they say is designed to clarify story or setting. Either they explain their own actions,
I watched what side of the fin tracks are more indented. That shows you which direction they're going.
or they explain the states of mind of others,
He's exhausted.
or they just talk about themselves like in front of a new class at school.
I am Prince Zuko, son of Fire Lord Ozai, and
But in addition to NPC behavior, the dialogue itself is super clunky and unnatural and non-human, because pretty much every dialogue scene in the movie is a Q&A session meant to deliver information.
You're not still upset?
Not as much as I was.
Like when Katara finds Aang in the ice, what's one of the first things she says to him?
How did you get here? How did you get in the ice?
Yeah, she immediately wants to know exposition. Imagine someone finds you in a crashed car and the first thing they ask you is, "Hey, how did you get in this car crash?" Like, can you at least check if I'm alive first? Oh, and character behavior is also inconsistent. When the Fire Nation comes looking for Aang, Sokka is about to give in to his emotions, but Katara holds him back wisely.
Sokka, don't.
But then a few seconds later, it's Katara who's about to give in to her emotions, and Sokka holds her back wisely.
Katara, don't.
So the characters don't even have distinct personalities, but just act in whatever way the writer in the moment wants them to act. And there you go, what a way to begin a movie. A boring, clunky, artificial world where everyone behaves like an NPC. Nice. Now that we head toward Act 2, it's time to get more into conflict, like when Aang becomes a prisoner on Prince Zuko's battleship. And the first thing to notice is that the action fight choreography is dumb as hell because it's awkwardly forced on screen. Aang blows these soldiers into the wall and wall runs out, even though there was plenty of room to just go down the walkway. That's the main issue with the action. It's pretentious. People do long coordinated dance numbers to lift one tiny rock they could have just thrown by hand, and other people patiently wait in place while their opponents do bending dances.
What he's doing?
Also, it doesn't help that everything is shot as a signature clunky Shyamalan wide shot oneer. Looks extra stupid with the CGI. What is also stupid is the strong emotion shown by the characters because it's also very forced. Now that Aang and friends travel to his home in the Air Nation, they find the bones of his tribe. And as Katara tells Aang that the Fire Nation killed them all because the next avatar would be one of them, he cannot fathom it. The burst of rage itself works fine, but the reason it feels off is due to the crooked context in which it is born. Like, why does Aang scream that Katara is lying about his tribe being dead when he's already standing in a field of their bones? The context and timing of the rage is weird. It would have made way more sense if he first finds one body and accuses her of lying about them all being dead, and then finds the field of bones and loses it. The emotion could grow throughout the scene. Same with Zuko. I understand his rage, but why is he constantly screaming in moments where nothing prompts it?
Don't even try to escape. This is a warship!
The outrage always feels fake, which is why the acting does too.
Waterbender! I'm taking you to my ship.
And on the topic of emotion, what's also on show is the characters' total lack of emotional intelligence, which is one of the best ways to make them look like dumb fake robots. See, now that Aang is angry about his dead family, Katara says that he doesn't have to be because she and Sokka are with him now.
I can't bring Monkey Hatsu back, but Sokka and I can be with you as long as you need.
Yeah, my whole family may be dead, but at least I can hang out with two people I just met, so it's not that bad. Nice one, Katara. Nice real human behavior there. But now that we head deeper into the plot, we start to realize that it's fully aimless because the characters are passive shells with no tangible objectives. There is general talk about Aang needing to learn all the elements to fight the Fire Nation, but there's no actual plan or direction to head toward. We basically just travel around randomly until the plot forces itself onto us. We land in the Earth Nation to take a break or something, and now some kid runs away from Fire Nation soldiers and they take us all into an Earth Nation prison camp. Then we start fighting and liberating this camp and others because why not? Then we go to some temple and the Fire Nation is there to take us prisoner. Then someone rescues us and we go to a northern water kingdom because a dragon in a vision told us to go there. Everything feels aimlessly random, artificial. It's not the heroes and their motivations that push the plot, but rather the plot that pushes the heroes and their motivations. We don't progress toward a destination as much as we end up in places. No better foundation for a slow, slugging story than that. And speaking of motive, what's also missing from the plot is the stakes. It's not really clear why people do what they do or why we should care. Katara and Sokka seem to help Aang just because their grandma told them to. Okay, grandma. Aang seems to go learn waterbending just because he's the Avatar and a dragon in a vision told him to. Okay, dragon. Like, I don't even fully understand the Fire Nation world domination thing. The only glimpse we actually see of that is the Earth Nation prison camps, and even there it seems easy for the Earthbenders to fight back since the Firebenders are all pretty incompetent. So why don't they just fight back? Why does the world need to wait for the Avatar? I don't know, but I guess that's just how it is. Aang's mission is very important. Yeah. And there you go, what a second act. The plot is artificial and the emotional and physical sides are dumb as hell. Hell yeah. Heading into Act 3, Aang and his friends go to the Northern Water Kingdom to be trained in the ways of water. And the first thing you realize is that there's a massive reset in the story between Acts 2 and 3. Most of the story is kind of missing now and gets filled in with, you guessed it,
My brother and the princess became friends right away.
Yeah, there's a whole new status quo explained by voiceover. Oh, Sokka and the princess fell in love and blah blah blah. And if you wonder why that stuff is there at all if it's not done anything with, it's again because of exposition.
Why is your hair white, young lady?
He needs to be with her so that she can explain her relation to the Moon MacGuffin or whatever. As always, the movie is mostly just information and that's it. And as for the training segment, the problem there is that it exists for nothing specific. We're just kind of training for training's sake, assuming that something will happen sometime that we need the training for. We're simply meandering in place while we wait for the villains to come in and initiate the final climax.
Fire Nation is here.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
Oh, and as the Fire Nation shows up, you now realize that the movie is repeating the same scenes again and again. We're in an ice place, but now the Fire Nation shows up by sea. Zuko shows up to take Aang captive. I've seen this before. Zuko took Aang captive in the beginning and he ran away. The Fire Nation took Aang captive in the midpoint and he ran away. And now Zuko takes Aang captive and he runs away. Again. Zero imagination, just the same events repeating over and over. And speaking of repeating, you may also have noticed that the movie commits the greatest writing sin of all, which is repeating information the audience already knows. When Aang is captured at the midpoint, the fire villain says that they can't kill him because he's the Avatar and so he'd
just be reborn again and then the search would continue.
And then a few minutes later,
do not kill the Avatar! He will just be reborn again.
Do I look stupid to you?
It'll take a while for the audience to forgive you for having done that.
Another usual dumb thing at the end is that the movie invents a world-ending MacGuffin solely for the third act. As certain characters have discussed throughout, there exist these moon spirits that we only now get to see tangibly. And as the fire villain kills one of them, the entire sky switches color and everything is so bleak now. Yeah, if your third act sucks, just invent some MacGuffin that turns the sky red. Never fails. Another thing you can notice is that the characters are even stupider at the end than at the start. Katara keeps yapping to Aang when he's trying to meditate.
I knew you were real. I always knew you were real.
Zuko's uncle tells the princess that she can give her life to save the Moon MacGuffin, and he phrases it like it's inspirational advice.
You can give your life back for the spirits.
Oh, you're the princess. Well, don't worry then. You can give up your life to save the MacGuffin, and it's all good. Behavior and emotions are still pure nonsense. What is also nonsense is how some of the story threads get weakly concluded during the final battle. Throughout the movie, we've built up the fire villain, but his end is the equivalent of a wet fart. He runs away from Zuko's uncle when he sees him bend fire, and then he gets killed by some random townspeople we've never seen before. Cool, I'm sure nothing more could be done. Also, the editing of the final battle is out of sync emotionally. We first see the fire villain be killed off, and then we cut to Aang using his training to fight the Fire Nation. And it's like, we already feel like the Fire Nation has lost because we just saw their commander die. So to see this sequence after that sequence doesn't really do anything. Then, to end the battle, of course there's one more big CGI thing that doesn't have any physical effect. Aang creates this massive wave that doesn't do anything. He doesn't launch it into the Fire Nation ships or whatever. He just raises it and the ships sail away, and he lowers it, and that's it. It's just CGI there in the background, as always.
Set has Ra's spear. He's drawing a pulvers to the Nile, to the source of all life. Why? To drink it.
And now, as the movie ends in happy victory, the final thing is to foreshadow the sequel to give fans something to finally be excited about. But of course, it's a broken promise that will never happen because your movie is a giant piece of shit and the franchise is already cancelled and everybody lost. The end.